back here on the Cover 3 podcast, turning our attention Death Valley Tiger Stadium. LSU welcoming in a rival in the Florida Gators. Put succinctly, I thought that LSU probably has some questions to answer in terms of being truly one of the best teams in the country. Florida's talented enough that they could answer those questions with their performance. And also, LSU could bury the Billy Napier era here. Tom, in terms of the matchup itself, we can get to narratives in a little bit. What's going to be really important? What should people keeping their eyes on?
I picked LSU as my team to win the national title with 1,000% conviction. Just no doubt in my mind about it. I wasn't just kind of taking a shot there by any chance. I am very worried about the offensive line. Like, it was one thing against Clemson. Went and watched the Tech tape. They weren't as bad as they were against Clemson, but there's still iron, works to be kinked out. And you look at the offense as a whole, like, they had the 1.55 points per drive versus Clemson. It went all the way up to 2.09 versus Louisiana Tech. They are 101st overall in points per drive so far this season. They are 107th in negative play rate. They are losing yards on so many snaps, and it wasn't just the Clemson game. They're 97th in turnover rate. They're 96th in explosive rate. You haven't really seen a whole hell of a lot from this offense through 2 games. And I was really hoping that against Louisiana Tech, now granted, some of it was probably the play calling, just being conservative, but still the execution was not great to me. Will that show up in another big game for them than what they faced last week? I don't know, but the one thing that I do feel like is going in their favor for this offensive line is Florida. Despite playing one game against the Sharks of Long Island University, ranks 111th nationally in pressure rate on defense. They are not getting after quarterbacks. So if this is like a movable object versus a statue right now, based on how we've seen them play, can the statue of Florida's defensive line move the movable object of LSU's offensive line? We'll find out. That is going to be a key to me in this matchup.
I'm going to pick right up where Tom left off there. If you sort by the guys who have played 100 snaps for LSU's offense, there's one guy in green, 75. That'd be Garrett Nussmeier, who, Your offensive lineman, 61, 47, 66. There we go. 56, 58. And then the tight end, Bauer Sharp, 41. So they are undefeated. They are the SEC co-favorite, despite largely getting their ass kicked up front. Yeah. And we will see if that can continue, to Tom's point. Just put a little more math behind that. I was a little bit concerned about Florida's pass rush coming into the year. Chip, as you said, like they kind of needed – there are some guys in this team who needed to take a big step up if they were going to pay off in a big way.
Banks hasn't played yet, right?
Yes, exactly. So I think there's some chance Banks plays this week. We know, obviously, LSU, the guy with Braylon, is out for this game. Chester, I went and watched the backup snaps there. Chester did. Whoever that defensive tackle is, he walked him back a couple times, like pretty good. So, if Banks is in and Banks is healthy, he could cause some real problems. I've never been like a Sapp as a first round type guy. At least in my state, I think that Bain for Miami is way better of a pass rusher than Sapp is. But I think Banks is pretty damn good, dude. And there's some chance that he could really impact this game. Florida's got some decent speed on the back end. And, I'm curious to see. The chat saying Braylon Moore is listed as probable. I read that he had tightrope surgery. Is that not correct?
I don't know.
Let's see here.
Is he Walensky? Because if he's not, then it's always tough to come back from tightrope.
Yeah, I mean, we'll check that. That's what I had read. Apologies if he's in. That's obviously quite the help there. I do think that LSU is going to struggle to block Florida. At least in the run game, they're probably going to have to throw it a whole lot. Last year, Florida got after him. They were able to confuse Nussmeier. LSU offensive line was pretty banged up in that one. On the other side, man, it's pretty clear Florida whiffed on Sturdivant, the receiver that they took out of the portal. Like he's never been like good. He's just always been theoretical. Like there's some chance he's good. And This is the final stop now as a redshirt senior. He's not a good player.
Yeah.
But they had success in prior years of taking guys like that and actually making them into good players. So I think there was some reason to believe they could do so again. They need like a receiver who's not a gadget guy.
You don't like Eugene Wilson's 4.7 yards per catch?
Yeah, Eugene's like a slot bubble screen gadget dude. Like when the ball's in his hands, it's great, but how do you get it to him? Fornelli Brown's a freshman. Lagway threw an absolute dime to him there in the fourth quarter, which puts that game away if he doesn't drop it. Credit USF for forcing a difficult throw. He made the difficult throw. The freshman just dropped it. I think he's a hell of a player, but true freshman in Death Valley. I don't know, man. Can they get open at all?
Yeah, because LSU's defense, we came out of week 1 being like, oh my God, did you see what Blake Baker has done with this defense? Then like one more data point on Clemson, and you're kind of like, okay, let's take this same group on and let's see them face some other tests in some different situations as well. I'm not bagging on him because LSU's defense was an absolute sieve there for a little bit. It's year 2. It's not this year. They've hit on portal additions. They seem to be really locked in, playing good assignment football. But I do think that it's maybe the week 1 performance was also some Clemson as well.
Also, like if LSU is challenging Florida to make the big time throws, that's going to be interesting because Lagway actually has the arm to do that, whereas Cade does not. Right. So, like, if they want to play high variance, high risk stuff and then Baker has amazing blitz packages, obviously. We'll see. Like the downside of that variance could catch you as well.
Yep. Anything else here? But again, our picks. If we've got any locks on this,
Florida O-line is way better than Clemson's O-line. That's good. They're going to need to play their ass off in this game if Florida can come out of there with a win, which I do think is possible.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting matchup because like the script is flipped on LSU. The offense is a question. The defense appears to be pretty dang good because they're 19th in pressure rate despite only being 97th in blitz rate. So if LSU can get pressure against a much better offensive line than what they faced so far this season without blitzing, that could be huge. But if they have to blitz more, because you just mentioned Bud, that can open Lagway up to hitting some big shots against them.